We keep it live, it's time to tune in. Turn up the sound on what you're using. It goes so hard, I think it's bruising. The show is 2020, no need to zoom in. Yeah.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Sirr of the 2020 podcast, and we have here a special guest, Miss Ashley Reid-Portiez. How are you today?
I'm fine, and yourself?
I cannot complain. Well, I could, but it wouldn't even matter.
No.
But Ashley, you're an entrepreneur of sorts. So if we could just ask, what is it that you do?
I have two businesses. So the first one I have is the Communication Bridge.
Okay.
I am a behavior consultant and communication coach. And what I do is I help people improve their communication by learning the behavior of communication.
Okay.
And then my other business is spiritual practitioner. If you follow me on Facebook, Barbie, Bruja, I do readings and I do rituals for people.
Okay. And how long have you been in business?
Officially with the Communication Bridge since November. With Barbie Bruja, I officially announced my business in October, but I've been doing it for about 4 years.
Wow. Okay. That's plenty of time. So one thing we like to talk about in 2020 is the inspirations behind starting a business. What inspired you to take those two routes?
Okay, well, let's talk about Barbie Bruja. Well, what happened is that I am spiritually gifted, and I ran for a very long time. Like a long time. So around 2017, I stopped running, and then I was like accepting my gifts. And then around 2018, I was being pushed to do readings, and at first I didn't want to do it. So then I started doing it for like friends, like, oh, let me do this, and then it just went into there. And a lot of people were like, you're so gifted. Why don't you just open a business and do it? I was like, okay. So it's great. I get to help people. It also ties into the fact that I am a therapist, because I also end up giving therapy when I do my readings and helping people that are in tough situations who need clarity, and I love it.
Scene change. All right. So what inspired you to pursue those businesses?
As I mentioned Barbie Bruja earlier, but I'm going to talk about the Communication Bridge.
Okay.
So the Communication Bridge, I am a counselor. I'm a behavior therapist. I've worked with kids in ABA, therapy through autism. I work with people in substance abuse, kids in DJJ, and I learned a lot of people do not know how to communicate. So in ABA, they really focus on autism, but there's so much you could do in ABA.
Right.
So I noticed that a lot of people don't know how to talk to people, don't know how to talk to each other. And so everything can be simplified as long as you know the basis of behavior, which is ABC. Antecedent, behavior, consequence, and you can apply that to anything. So I was like, why not apply that to communication?
Cool.
And so started the Communication Bridge.
All right. Okay. Now that's an interesting outlet. It's funny how complicated life is, but we find these anagrams to kind of simplify things. So going back to the basics, and one thing we relish on is the dignity of simplicity. So make it simple, therefore it's easy to manage in a sense. So okay, so let's flip that question a little bit.
Okay.
So along any path there are trials, right? So what obstacles did you encounter along the way of managing these two businesses?
Well, one thing I've encountered with the Communication Bridge is that people want to join, but then they're like, oh, do I have to do like 3-week or a 6-week, and they just want to do one-on-one one time, which is fine with me. I do not have an issue with that. I just want to help you get on your way. One major thing that I had run into when I started the Communication Bridge is 3 days before I started it, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this, and gung-ho, and my mom, she was like, do it. So then I started it, and then 3 days later, my mom went into the hospital.
Oh.
And then it was literally lunch, 3 days later, shut down. And then I was trying to get everything going, but then I had to get my mom home. I had to fight the doctors to get her home because she made her decision. And then when I got her home, I took care of her for the last 2 weeks of her life. So then I had to drop everything, move into her house, 2 weeks, just 24/7 taking care of her. And it was a hard process to watch your mom just fade away in front of your eyes. And then when she died, of course, it just went, okay, so now she's gone, let's plan a funeral. After that, let me get the rest of her things that she didn't have together. I had to get all of that together. So I just pretty much had to just stop my business. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm at a stopping point with, I got most of her things together. Let me start back, because I know that she would not want me to quit, especially when she was a nurse and she had several businesses on the side herself.
Wow.
So I just like, what would Teresa want for me to keep going? So,
okay.
and that's one big challenge that I've been having to deal with.
Okay. Well, I can see how that can motivate you further, having that type of parent in your life and getting that resolution of, a lot of people don't get to experience that finality personally, but you were there. So, you got to absorb those moments. And I'm sure there's plenty of, I guess, lessons in that and understanding the value of a moment. So I can appreciate what you're doing. And if I haven't said it before, thank you for taking time out your day to do this interview.
No problem.
So let's move forward with the next question.
Okay.
So over doing this for over 4 years, there's had to be a moment or two that you would say kind of defined and reaffirmed why you do this. So if you had to pick one, what moment reminded you of, this is why I do this?
Okay, well, for Barbie Like Bruja, that's what I've been doing for 4 years. Officially. One thing is that I love when people come to me and they are just like, oh my God, I need answers. And then I'm just like, well, I got you.
Right.
And so then it turns from just, I'm doing a reading, to I real deal counsel them like they're my therapy patient.
Okay.
And so, I talk to them, and then they're like, oh, well, thank you. And then they take my advice and they listen to it. And then they're like, you are right. And then I just love helping people. But when I did a court case bill for someone, pretty much they had charges that was trumped up against them. And I was like, I'm going to go to work for you. And everything was dropped. I was working. I pulled out everything I could to get and it was dropped. Now, as far as the communication bridge, or in therapy in general, I love helping people. I love talking to people, letting them know that I care. It's not just a money thing to me. I love helping people, and I care, and I will cry with you. If you tell me something sad, I'm going to cry. I will. But also, I've been told that I can get tough, because I will hit you with, okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so now what do we do? Let's do it. And, sometimes they'll get mad at me and be like, you're so mean. I'm like, not mean, I'm firm.
Right.
But then they appreciate it, because then they look and they're like, oh, well, if I didn't come to you, then, like, where would I be? So it's just to know that I make a difference in someone's life, even if it's tiny, because it could go so far.
That's fact. In a world where everything is watered down and everybody's trying to appease someone, getting that dose of truth is necessary, especially in vital moments to your growth. So that's good to keep up. So my next question is what I call the infamous question.
Okay.
So it's not infamous like in a bad way. It's just, it can tell if people are prepared.
Okay, let's
so,
see.
Where would you like to see yourself as an entrepreneur, as a person, in the next 1 year, 3 years, and then 10 years?
Okay, well, next year, I would love for at least Gulf Coast wise for the communication bridge to be well known. I want people to realize that communication is not hard, and to come to me, I want to be known as that person to help you with communication. As far as Barbie Like Bruja, I still want to be known as one of the most, because Mobile, number one, let me say this, our worker has a very big spiritual community.
Yes.
And I would love for us to grow and work together. So I would love for, like, my name to be in the fray with that. 3 years from now, most definitely past the Gulf Coast region, United States level. 10 years from now, known all over the world. Income-wise, I would like to be the first millionaire in my family.
Hey, speak it.
Make my mom proud. And, set up generational wealth for my children and my grandchildren and my grandchildren's grandchildren. But just most definitely just still know that, this is my calling. This is what I'm meant to do. And I just want to help whoever I can.
That's inspirational. So actually, this actually brings me to my final question.
Okay.
It's my favorite one.
Okay.
Now, with this question, I always dedicate this to the people who are watching or listening. So the hardest thing to do is take an idea and run with it, especially when it's your dream. What words of encouragement would you have for that person who has a dream, but they're afraid to act on it?
Just do it. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people are like, well, I don't have the money to do it. Well, I didn't really have the money to, I literally went to the store and just listened, and then deck of cards fell in my hand, and I knew that I was supposed to do cartomancy, and the card cost 50 cents. And
Wow.
look at me now. And then with the communication bridge, I didn't have any money. I just said, I'm going to do it. And then just so happened, I got my last check from the last clinic I worked for. And I was like, this is enough for me to, to get some of this stuff done. And it wasn't that much. It doesn't take that much to just get started. Just go for it. Because you're sitting here planning. And you're like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. And I want to do that. And then next thing you know, 10 years are gone. And then you haven't done anything. So just think, honestly, where would you want to be like 3 years from now? And think about it if you never tried. Because you can't fail if you don't try. And you can't succeed if you don't fail.
That's powerful. Ashley, if anyone wanted to get in contact with you, whether it be about a reading or whether it be about just communication bridge or, your business as the Bruja, what would be the best means of contact?
Okay, for Barbie La Bruja, I am on Facebook as Barbie La Bruja. That's my page. And then I'm on Instagram as Barbie La Bruja 08. The Communication Bridge, I have a page on Facebook. And on Instagram, it is _communication_bridge. Also, you can reach me for Barbie La Bruja at Barbie La Bruja 1908 at gmail.com. The Communication Bridge, you can email me at thecommunicationbridge1908.com. Also, if you want to just add me on Facebook, my regular page, Ashley Reid-Portiez. You see my beautiful face and, hey, message me. Be like, hey, I saw you on the interview. And I'm like, all right, cool beans.
There it is. Well, we'll include that information in the description in the video below. And Ashley, thank you so much for doing this interview. We really appreciate it. And to everyone else watching, this has been your boy Sirr, the 2020 Podcast LLC. Please say the LLC, and we are out.
Alrighty.
Peace.
Bye, guys.